Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Thursday, the 15th of June. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. Alright, I'm going to try and canter through stuff tonight. We've got to do the review. We've got Thursday's bets. It's a £10 day, 2 lucky 15s. That is what Thursday is. I've got one extra bet as well, what I'm going to go through verbally. It's not on the screen, so if you're only watching and fast forwarding, you won't see it. You won't even see I'm talking about this, maybe, I don't know. But and then I've got at the end, I've got some very, very high price US Open golf bets if anybody wants to have a little bit of an interest in a super high risk betting strategy. That is coming up. So, how did we do on Wednesday? Rubbish on Wednesday. It was rubbish. We had two bets. That wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough. Non-runner, not good enough. So annoying thing at Limerick. If you still go on the actual like Irish Racecourses website, 8 o'clock this morning. Limerick, good to firm going. Forecast sunny. Chance of a passing shower. I think chance of a passing shower might have turned into a deluge, because the going went soft and they had a lot of non-runners, and the one horse didn't run well. So we just got a bit of refund money back on bet 1, and almost similar story on bet 2. Madame Fenella ran a nice race to get second. Then we had close enough but no cigar, tried but didn't get near, non-runner, and that one something went wrong with it because it basically pulled up. So we got a place and a non-runner back there. So not a great start to the week at all. So we had 20 on, 322 back. So a loss of 16.78 to start the channel week. So let's move on to Thursday. We've got a similar amount of horses. And whereas this one was sort of probably a bit more than half a day stake, but not quite 3/4. I've rounded it down. Yesterday I rounded up. Today I've rounded down. So I've got 8 horses, 2 lucky 15s. We've got the more expected lucky 15, I might say, and the non-expected lucky 15. So let's start off with that. So this is the one that if anyone else in the world put this up, you'd be like, yeah, I think it might be a Flat Cap Callum kind of bet, I think. None of these races are extra place races. Certainly from a Sky perspective, they're not. The bottom one is with 365 Betfred, hence why they're the advised bookie. So what we've got here is no extra place races on Sky and 4 horses who are all the rank outsider in their respective races. Just what you want. So the betting market says these are the worst horses in those races. So by rights, they should all finish last. I think differently. 2 o'clock Yarmouth, Duveen. I think that 6-runner race, I think it's been overlooked. I think 25 is a really nice price, should be at least half of that. 550 Worcester, Guttural, 20-1. Similar really, I think overlooked, should be about half of that. 640 is the kind of bit more interesting one in the sense of it's an unraced 2-year-old, and which I put up from time to time. Breeding wise, I mean, it's a really competitive race and there's some unraced horses that look good on paper, but that one particularly caught my eye in terms of just likely to run very well first time out if you look through the breeding history both on the dam and the sire side. It's the right ground, it's the right distance for it as well based on breeding, so I'm expecting a reasonable run from that horse, but we'll see. You never quite know with these ones. And then the 8:15 Haydock, 7 runners, only 365 and Betfred are 3 places. It might change after I've done this video. Sometimes Sky and Coral change and they'll go 3 in the next day, but as it stands, 2 places. Dandy's Derriere, 15p each way, lucky 15, 450 is the bet, 365 or Betfred, and then if it's not those, you want a bog bookie because you're not getting any advantage of extra places. So that is bet 1. And then bet 2 is this one, slightly more expected. I haven't done anything, I should flag, I haven't done anything in the 6:10 Haydock, which is a particularly good race for having a bet each way in. Really good betting structure. I just didn't like the read of the unraced horses, so I've left it. So I've got 455 Nottingham, Coley's Coco, Sky are 4, no one else is, and then I've got the 3 Leopardstown races that look quite decent. There's a few more at Leopardstown that look decent, but I didn't want to go big on there. I'm not a massive fan of Leopardstown for form consistency. So 7 o'clock Leopardstown, Eastern Wind, definitely need that one to bounce back. Its current form's been rubbish, but it's got potential to be a heck of a lot better than that mark. So we're taking a real chance on that one to bounce back at 22s. And then these two, I'm kind of keen on those. Put a double on them. They're the only ones in those ones that stand out to me at value. 7:30 Leopardstown, Tower of Power, 16s, took it last time. Keeping faith with it again. 8 o'clock Leopardstown, Reverberation, 14-1. And usually those run over the 9 furlong distance. So Leopardstown, you get all sorts, and you get miles and 10 furlongs. So kind of got intermediate distance. I think we might be that those horses might be suited by it. So 15p each way, lucky 15. So again, it's a 450, and then we've got a 50p each way double going on the two last ones at Leopardstown, Tara Power, Reverberation. Sky our best, but only because of that one extra place there. Then 365 Paddy Coral, you'll get your bog on the multiples. 550 is your bet. So that's the £10 bet plan for there. Those of you who've got 365 accounts and like playing in the each way extra market, I would bring your attention to the 445 at Leopardstown and the rank outsider in that race, O Merisi. It's 100-1 in the main market. I wouldn't be backing it in the main market. What you can get on 365, which I think is decent, is 6 places. If you go at the end, it's 11 runner race, but you can do 6 places and get 45-1. I'm rating that horse 6th to 8th, so it's within the range. So 6th to 8th is where I'm placing it. There's a big jump up then if you go from 6 to 5, because you can get 85-1 or 5 places. It's possibly it's worth a little nibble on there, but I'd be advised, comparatively, 85 won 5 places versus 45 won 6 places. There's a lot more value in the fifth place at 85-1. But if you actually then strip it out and what the chances between that 5th and 6th, given the quality of the other horses, I would say the safest way to do the bet is to have a bet on 6 places with a little bit of a nibble on 5, knowing that I'm saying the horse is 6th to 8th. So clearly now the horse will come 9th, 10th, or 11th, and I'll look silly, won't I? But yeah, I would say it's worth a little dabble on that on the each way extra market. I mean, from a 45's point of view, I think 35 is probably all right. You probably don't want to go so much more lower, but if I'm drawing people's attention to it, it probably won't take much in a side market like that to bring the price in. So we'll see how we go. Maybe 30s would be the lowest, I would think you want to go. So that's that, and then I'll get onto the golf. So with the golf, I've had a look at it a little bit differently, because I'm finding at the moment with golf, the main markets are very open. There's a lot of competing players, and what you really want is you want a couple of standouts, because then that pushes a bit more value further up. But it's quite open. So I've kind of, in the tradition of what I do on the channel, I've gone fishing at the much bigger end of the market. So this is completely optional. It's not recorded on my statistics. I'm not putting a staking amount to these. I'm just drawing your attention to half a dozen players. But personally, I've put a little bit of cash down on, and then you can do what you want with it. And I've got kind of 2 ways of doing the bet. One is very high risk, and the other one is high risk. So there's nothing else. So I've got very high risk or high risk. If you want medium, I'm not your man for the US Open golf. There's plenty of tipsters out there that will tell you who they think's going to win. I'm trying to get someone in the top 10. That's what I'm trying to do. So these are my 6 advisories. So I'll talk you through this, because I've kind of got a little my own squiggles on here. So some of it will make sense and some of it might not straight away. So the 5 in the main market that I'm having a look at, 4 young'uns and 1 maturin. 4 young'uns, Austin Eckroat, 300-1. And I'm generally looking here at Hills and Paddy as the best places to back these. So with Hills and Paddy for Austin Eckroat, you can get 300-1, 10 places. So that one is in there. Then we've got Michael Thorbjornsson. Michael Thorbjornsson, 500-1. That's Hills only, 500-1. Carson Young, 500-1. That is Paddy only. Dylan Wu, 500-1, Hills or Paddy. And the maturest of them all, Kevin Streelman, 500-1 with Paddy. Next best after what I've advised is on Austin Ekrot. You can now get, I think it's 400 to 1. The price has gone out 400 to 1 on Sky, which is for 8 places, which is arguably better than 300 for 10 places. So the best bet actually on that one, it's changed today, is 400 with Sky. But really, when I originally wrote this out, that was better. With the middle 3, you can get 600 to 1, 8 places with 365, which is also a decent bet. So 600 with 365 or 500 with those bookies advised. So they're my 5 main market bets. And basically, if you bet them all equal stake, if you wanted to do that, one of those placing and you're laughing. That's what you're looking at. But clearly on the prices, the betting market says it's very, very unlikely. But we are not betting these people to think these guys can win the US Open. There's always an outside chance. We're betting these guys to perform a lot better in the place market than the odds suggest. The other one I've got in there as a side bet market that I think's worth it and a very big price is in the top English market, Barkley Brown. There's 4 very, very decent in good form English players. So you really need a couple of them to underperform and him to do well as an amateur. But he's got spikes of form, and in that market, I just think it's worth trying a bit. So 80 to 1 Sky is the best you can get, 3 places. 75 to 1 365 is next best. Those are the kind of odds I would have a look at. If you're looking at places where you can get 50, 60, I wouldn't be as keen, but I think 80s and 75s. And anybody who wants to dabble in the main market, I think 2,500 to 1 top 8 Barkley Brown with 365 if you want to have a look at that. So this is the what I would call the very, very high risk way of doing it. So that's one way of doing it. The high risk way of doing it is this. And I'm looking specifically at Paddy Power. So this is the type of event where I use Paddy Power side markets for. So a lot of bookies will price up top 10, top 20, top 30, top 40. Not all do top 30. But what most don't do is then allow you to put them into multiples. And some people would say, well, surely if they're all competing in the same event, then you're kind of cannibalising the price. In a touch you are. But the way I would advise the bet is if you did a Canadian or Super Yankee, so that's basically doubles, trebles, fourfolds or fivefolds in the top 30 market, and you covered the bottom 4, the 4 bigger prices with singles. Now the key thing is, from a ratio point of view, and this gives you a little bit of insight into how I might do things off the channel, for this bet, 6 times stake. So what I mean is, if you're doing a 10p each way, you say that, 10p win Canadian or Super Yankee, that would come out as a £2.60 bet. So if 10p is your stake, but on there, you would then go 60p win on the bottom 4. That's 6 times your stake on that one, if that makes sense. That's 240 on the singles, 260 there. That would round you up to exactly £5. And what it means is that one of them getting in the top 30, you got most of your money back, pretty much, of those bottom 4. Any 2 in the top 30, you've made a profit on your bet. More than that, and you're into some decent territory. So, however you choose to do it, what I would say is the way I calculated that out when I did my own bet for my own personal staking, is I put 6 times the unit stake on the singles as I did on there. So it ended up being a similar amount of money on the Super Yankee Canadian as it was on the singles. I'm hoping that makes sense. But yeah, what you want there is them in the top 30. So the mission 1 is how many of them can you get making the cut, and then you've got to start looking at can they get in the top 30. And the thing with this is you've got to try and find players that might be hungry to try and achieve a little bit, and you know they've got nothing to lose, so they might put it in there. Oh, the difference here compared to like the horse racing market is there's not as much corruption going on with somebody tapping up a golfer going, do you know what, I've got a bet on you to finish in the top 40, so it would really, really help me. Or, you know, it doesn't really work like that, does it? Yeah, there's probably corruption in golf, I'm sure there is, but far less so than there is in horse racing. So, entirely up to you. That's just a bit of an insight into where I've put my cash down for the US Open. But compared to where you would find most people giving golf tips, the shortest I've got there is 300 to 1. Most people wouldn't go near that one. So Up to you what you do with it, take it or leave it. But that's where my cash is down, and I'll kind of give an update as we go through the weekend. hopefully we'll get to Saturday and we haven't lost all 6 golfers. But at those prices, that's what the betting market suggests will happen. All right, that is me. Thank you very much. I'll now be back again as per usual schedule Friday morning. So back Friday morning for Friday selections. Thank you very much. Have a good Thursday. Bye bye.